Hey guys, I have Sarah, one of our lovely members from Think Fit here today, and we're going to be talking about a little bit of her epigenetic journey. And on her journey, she's come through and had some miraculous things. I think the most exciting thing for me was like we got towards the end, and you already had heaps of, eye-opening moments. But you turned around and you said, "Josh, I'm going to conquer my fear and climb the Harbour Bridge." And I was so shocked after. I mean, I remember at Spartan, I was helping you over the obstacle course and that was a big deal for you, that, what was it, 2 meter, 3 meter height?
Yeah, yeah.
And it
It
was
wasn't
like,
easy.
and yeah, and just that mental, that obstacle, physical and mental. So I'm been super excited to see you go through it. And I'd love to know, like, what were your expectations before jumping in? Because I know you saw a couple of other people do it. And then what did you kind of feel after going through the program?
I guess my expectations were I'd heard a little, like, and obviously I'd been to the sessions where we had discussed it before, and then a few of my friends from the gym had given it a go. At the time when you first started it, my daughter was getting married. It was just all too much at that time, so I thought I'll do the next one. Um, I guess when I'd heard people talking about it, I guess I was excited that it could just show I guess give me information about what's good for me. It wasn't just this broad thing that was supposed to cover every single person. It is something that is very individualized. And even though you put into a type, even inside that type, it's very individualized as well, regarding like where you sit within the rankings or spectrum or whatever you call it in the I guess I'm the diplomat. So wherever I sit in that diplomat sort of part of the pie, it can be different where you sit. So I found that it was very individualized and probably more individualized than I thought. I went into it thinking, this will be great, and I think it even exceeded my expectations of what it would be like.
Ah, that's awesome. I remember what was your biggest thing at the start? The breakfast, the
Oh,
food timing.
breakfast. I'm very I like to know exactly what I'm doing, which is
Mm,
pretty much the normal diplomat. I like
yeah.
my routine. I like to know exactly what I'm having for breakfast. I'll have the same thing for breakfast every day if that's what's going to work. Like, that's my routine. I like all of that. And when I was looking at the food, I'm like, but that's not what I eat now. What am I going to do? What am I going to have for breakfast? So, but yeah, I've overcome that now. I'm not so those things don't worry me anymore. I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's getting accustomed to that spectrum because I guess we can talk about next. Like you've done so many other programs, even through us, like nutritional based ones, and that was based on the stuff that I thought was correct in the past. And then you recently did have really good success with it was just a protein based diet, wasn't it?
Yeah, high protein, really low carbs. So yeah, and I have done that in the past. And the reason I went back to it again because I knew I could do it quickly, but I've never been successful at maintaining it. Um, but when I did it like previously, about 6 years ago, I was able to lose weight really quickly. And this year I wanted to lose weight for my daughter's wedding. So I thought, I know how to do this. It's hard. It's hard. There's
Mm,
no, um, like, it's kind of, there's no reward, like, there's no variation in it. Like, you've got to do it, stick to it the whole time. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And that's hard. There's no rewards, no, anything, because it just, I guess, because you are so strict and you limit your carbs so much, as soon as you go over the tiniest little bit, you just put weight on really, really quickly. So that was hard. This time I did it again because I knew how to do it and it was quick and I lost weight for my daughter's wedding, but it's not sustainable in the long run. Like, it's one of those things that you do and you get nervous when someone invites you out for dinner because you have no idea what you're going to be able to eat on the menu.
yeah,
um,
for sure. And was
yeah,
that slightly different once you got into the swing with the epigenetics? Did you feel it was a bit more natural?
yeah, I think with epigenetics, I've been a little bit more relaxed at looking at the foods. My focus with the beginning of epigenetics and like working through it was to learn a lot about it first and make sure I watch all the videos, do all the learning, everything that you sent through. This time of year with Christmas, end of
Was
the
awesome.
year, it was very, very busy. So I decided that my focus was going to be to maintain my weight at this point. Yeah, I just thought it's too hard to try and lose weight when you're out enjoying Christmas and all that. I had a goal to remain within a 1 kilo mark of where I was, and I've
Yeah.
been able to do that.
Oh, really? That's so
Yeah.
good. That's awesome. Christmas is such a hard time.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure there's been fluctuations in between where I've gone over it and I've gone back under it or whatever, but at the moment I've been able to maintain within that 1 kilo
Perfect.
1 kilo point, which is really good. And that, makes me happy and shows me that using something like epigenetics, even just knowing what I know about it now. And yes, I haven't stuck to the eating side. Um, I really haven't stuck to it very well, but when making choices, I know what I can choose to help me maintain my weight, which is good. So my goal now is to, yes, I'd like to lose some more weight, and over the next week or so, I'm still on holiday, so it's a bit tricky. I'm looking at sort of maintaining, and then as I get back into the year and the holidays are over, I'm going to start really focusing on the food side. But I've just really enjoyed learning about all the other sides of epigenetics. Like,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's what I was going to say, right? So you're learning to use it as a tool rather than a hammer. So you're
yes,
leveraging the things appropriately. And then also when you look at your profile, like food is fourth down the list or something, isn't it?
yeah,
Like it's not
yeah,
the highest priority for you. So obviously getting those mental things in check for you. And it sounds like being able to logically put things into place, it reduces stress for you. So
oh,
understanding that
definitely.
you're not going to have the effects of stress increasing weight gain and things like that. So I think you've navigated it so well and been able to understand yourself better that it's made you almost more stable or more secure in who you are and who you need to be to feel the right way.
Yes, and I feel like epigenetics has lifted this big weight off my shoulders, which might sound really silly, but I spend so much time thinking, oh, this person can do this, or and it's a bad habit comparing yourself to others, but you think, why can't I'm a big thing for me is like I love sleep, so I have my good sleep, but I struggle to jump out of bed in the mornings, and it was always like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have a good night's sleep, and why can't I just bounce out of bed in the morning and just be that person who's like ready to start the day? Why? And I guess epigenetics, sorry, has taught me that my body type doesn't do that. And
Yeah.
so I've kind of gone, oh my gosh, I don't need to worry about that. Like, so it's all these
But it didn't
little.
mean you didn't stop, right? So you
No,
didn't use
no,
that
no,
as
no.
the thing to stop.
No, I guess I've kind of challenged what epigenetics has said about myself a bit, because I do work and I do have a life and I do like my routine, and I was very much in a routine. So I still get out of bed at 5 and go for my walk, but not being able to bounce out of bed
You're probably
and
more
feel.
accepting of yourself.
I'm very more accepting that, I might be on that walk. I always walk with my mum. We sort of chat and stuff like that. It's okay to be a little bit grumpy or a bit not as bouncy as I would like to be
Yep.
at that time of the morning, because that's just my body type. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. Because you sort of think, well, why? I get my sleep, I eat well, I do allow for treats and stuff like that. But why can't I bounce out of bed when the alarm goes off? But
Yeah.
I can't. It's something that I find hard to do. It doesn't stop me from doing it, but it just gives me a bit of an understanding of why my body doesn't react like other people's bodies do when their alarm goes off.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's so good. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you saw in your profile? You were like, oh my God, this is me as well. Probably
I
hard off the
guess
top.
to be honest, the whole thing, I just looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I must be like a true diplomat, because
I think you are.
everything
I
is,
think you're right in the
I'm
center.
right in the middle,
Yeah.
because everything about this is exactly me. Like every time I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that is so me. I think I even messaged you a couple of times going, oh my goodness, like no wonder I feel a bit anxious over these kind of things, things that are a bit I get anxious over things that are um sorry
Like
like
logical, like in an order.
yeah, that I can't control, like things that, like, I like to be in control, things that I can't control, um things that I don't know how to solve that problem. um I get really uncertainty, there you go. I
Yep.
get
Yep.
anxious when I'm uncertain. And I was reading things about that going, oh, so true. But and even that helps me when I start to feel a bit anxious when I'm uncertain. I think it's okay to be anxious. This is not a problem. You just need to work out how you're going to solve this problem. It's not
Yeah.
that you can't do it. You just need to, there's a lot of self-talk going on in my head, which is also
Yeah.
um something that happens. But yeah, I think I don't it's so, I found it really extraordinary how it just tells me exactly what I am. Even I was looking at the Whoop um the other day, um and everything it says for the diplomat is exactly the things that
All your
I,
goals always.
all my goals.
Yeah.
That is all my goals in there. And
Yeah.
it's like, even knowing that even the obstacles are the obstacles that I face. So like, I want the outcome, but then I have those obstacles, and just seeing them written down is like, wow, that is so true. And when you see it written down in front of you, you think, oh, I can do this. I
Yeah.
just have to work out how I'm going to overcome those obstacles. But when you're in the moment and trying to work towards your goal, or even setting a goal, the first thing that comes to your mind is, how am I going to do that? And then you kind of go, oh, it's just all too hard. I'm not even going to try.
Well, I don't know if it mentions in there as well, but Diplos are typically they have a negative bias,
Oh,
that
yeah.
the most out of all the health types. And that's because they're actually, because they sit between the Guardian and the Sensor. The Sensor's super future focused, and then the Guardian's like past focused. So you're
Mm,
constantly trying to fight between the two and aren't able to be present as easy.
yes.
And that whole alertness awareness creates those feelings of anxiousness, which
Yes.
if you just told yourself, which it sounds like you are, you realize you're more hyper aware. And it
Yes.
just means that you need to create a system to create certainty. And as long as you have the right people around you, you're always going to have that.
Yes. And I think just knowing that that is normal. Like, sometimes you think when you get anxious and you get worried about things, and some people just seem to just take it all and just can like flow through that really easily, whereas I get quite anxious about it. And just knowing that, okay, that's normal. That's your type, that's your gene type, and what can I do to overcome that? What can I use that I've learned through epigenetics to work through this? Has made such a difference. I think it's such a more, I feel like I have a more positive outlook, a more positive feeling about myself,
So good. Yeah.
which is really nice, which I have struggled with in the past, like, oh, why can't I just eat what I want? Why can't I, you know, just do a squat properly? Like,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
all of those kind of things. Um, but to learn all about this and to go, okay, well, your body type, you can eat what you want within, like, for your body type. Like, I'm not someone who can just eat as many carbs as I want, like another body type might be. But as long as I focus on foods that are for my body type, I can eat what's, if I feel hungry, I just go and grab something that's good for my body type.
Yeah. And we've done no
Um,
calorie counting, no macro counting. It's just
no,
like eating
nothing,
the right
nothing.
foods.
It's
Yeah.
just knowing. It's just kind of having all that information. And with all the resources that you've sent me through, I do go back and keep looking at them, like the Shay app, but even the videos and things like that. I was looking at them again last night because there's a lot of information.
So much.
And but yeah, you think, because I was thinking about the Whoop, the and like the outcomes and the obstacles, and then the planning, how you can do that. And I had the word Whoop in my head. I was like, oh, what is that? I remembered the Whoop. But
Yeah.
so then I went back last night and re-looked at all that, which was really helpful. So, and just having the app to go back to and looking, yeah, I don't know, it's been life-changing for me, which probably
That's
sounds
awesome.
like very dramatic.
Mm.
But it has been.
Yeah. No,
um
I felt exactly the same when I went through it. I thought it was insane. Like you do all these tests at work and they do like the circles, the other circles, disc profiling and all that. But then you learn, oh, hold on a minute. I told this thing my behaviors, and then it put me in a profile based on what I told it.
Yes.
Whereas this, it doesn't know nothing psychologically about you, but because of your hormonal profile, it's able to depict so many behaviors that you have. It's just mind blowing.
Oh yeah. As I said, everything I looked at, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so me. Like, how does it know all this about me? But it kind of, once you've done that, you kind of go, okay, this is something I really need to know more about and keep following and keep looking into. And as I said, the food thing is something that's going to come next. That's my next goal. But just being able to appreciate me for who I am, and that it's okay to be who I am. I don't have to be like those other people. I don't, and I guess it gives you more realistic goals
Yeah.
to look at as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because once you learn, because even learning about all the other body types, you kind of go, okay, well, yeah, I can see that that's not me. I'm not going to get there. I need to set a goal that's realistic for me.
I think that was one of the things that really I I was like, yeah, I could focus on you as an individual, but at the end of the day, like it doesn't work as good as knowing what else is out there and how else it works, and that you just
Mm.
won't be the same as other people. Like exactly like you said, people wish every day that they look like someone else, but if you look like someone else, you have to accept that you're going to behave like someone else.
Yes.
And there's going to be things that come with those bodies, like the people that are more emotional, that are maybe have the better looking bodies, but then you have to deal with that.
Yes.
You won't have that conscious the concentration, you won't have the focus. Like I'm so glad that you said that, because I just like, it removes so much guilt. It gives you that self-confidence, that self-belief. um and I think you've done amazing with it, so I'm excited to see what else you can take from it.
Yes.
And I mean, we have a few things coming up. We have the mental health thing next week
Yeah.
or so,
Yeah, I'll be
and then
there for that.
the retreat that I'm putting together to dive a bit more into behaviors and a couple of other things, just to really help people set a proper identity for themselves. And yeah, I'm so grateful that you're open-minded enough, and you've done everything with us, and it's just been a testament to like see you go from someone that couldn't even squat with the bar on their back to 85 kilo squats climbing the Harbour Bridge. It's insane.
Yeah, it's exciting. I guess it's not just epigenetics. It's you and Elise and all the other coaches, and knowing that I can just message you, like, within reason. Like, you got to be
Yeah.
able to have your weekends and sleep and stuff, but and you're always positive and pushing us towards our like our goals, and always there for that kind of thing. And I guess that support from you guys, and with epigenetics as well, has taught me that I can challenge myself.
Yeah.
And yes, climbing the Harbour Bridge, I was scared. I nearly chickened out. I went by myself, so um, I was sitting there waiting, thinking it's all right, you can just leave, and then I thought, no, I'm going to do this.
Just
Like,
do it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this. So, but when I went, it was definitely less scary than I thought it would be. But I think having the support of everyone at Think Fit and Epigenetic, like, I guess everything that I've learned in the 3 years that I've been there has all led me to be able to do what I can do now.
Yeah. Love it.
Challenging myself, having, being more positive towards who I am, and yeah, setting goals and achieving them, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking the questions, because that's, I think, the hardest thing for so many people. They don't want to look stupid, and they feel guilty if they're not doing something. And I mean, there's been plenty of times where in your journey, you've just been like, nah, Josh, I'm not doing things. I'm like, that's okay. It's just the season,
Yeah,
right? And we end up getting back on track. There was no, like, never judged you, nothing. We just worked through them, and then yeah, we
yeah,
just got these incredible outcomes. So yeah,
yeah,
testament to you.
yeah. No, it's wonderful, and that's where I'm heading now. To the
Awesome.
gym.
Well, you enjoy your session, and thank you so much for jumping on. I hope people get some awesome stuff out of this, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.